There's quite a bit of conversation about net zero in climate circles, and we hear all about the term net zero quite frequently, at least for those of us in the water sector. So this video explores what net zero is all about and its relation to climate change and water. Since climate change and water are so closely connected, it is important to broadly understand this important topic of net zero. Simply stated, net zero means cutting greenhouse gas emissions to as close to zero as possible, with any remaining emissions reabsorbed from the atmosphere by oceans and forests, for instance. The concept of net zero is critical because the global temperature increase needs to be limited to 1.5 degrees centigrade above the pre-industrial levels. Currently, the Earth is already about 1.1 degrees centigrade warmer than it was in the late 1800s, and emissions continue to rise. To keep global warming to no more than 1.5 degrees centigrade, as has been called out in the Paris Agreement, emissions need to be reduced by 45% by the year 2030 and to reach net zero by the year 2050. Currently, as a global society and commitments made by governments around the world, unfortunately, we are really not on track and fall short of what is required. Getting to net zero requires all governments, first and foremost the biggest emitters, to significantly strengthen their NDCs, also known as nationally determined contributions, and take bold, immediate steps towards reducing emissions now. The Glasgow Climate Pact called on all the countries to revisit and re-strengthen the 2030 targets in their NDCs by the end of this year, 2022, to align with the Paris Agreement temperature goals. So transitioning to a net zero world is going to be, or is actually, one of the greatest challenges humankind has faced. It calls for nothing less than a complete transformation of how we produce, how we consume, how we move about, and everything else in terms of our daily lives and daily activities. The energy sector is a source of about 3/4 of greenhouse gas emissions today and holds the key to averting the worst effects of climate change. Replacing polluting coal, gas, and oil-fired power with energy from renewable sources such as wind and solar could dramatically reduce carbon emissions. A unified global purpose on the climate front will ensure a one water for one world environment for all the inhabitants on this planet.